All right, let's talk about the global AI race. Now, when I say that, your mind probably jumps straight to Silicon Valley, right? Of course it does. But what if I told you that the next true AI superpower isn't being born there, but is actually being engineered with incredible precision in Paris? Yeah, you heard that right. We're going to dive into this because something truly remarkable is going on in France. 12 billion euros. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That is the insane valuation of one single French AI company, Mistral AI. It just makes you stop and ask, right? How on earth did a country that, let's be honest, was kind of seen as a secondary player suddenly produce an absolute titan that can go toe-to-toe with the giants? And you have to wonder, could the next OpenAI really truly come from Europe?
You know what we're seeing here? It's not just a trend. It's nothing short of a full-blown renaissance. And let me be clear, this didn't just happen by accident. Oh no. This is the result of a very deliberate, very strategic plan that has turned France into the absolute center, the keystone for AI in all of Europe. They're not just playing the game, they're challenging the old guard head-on.
So, the big question is, how did they actually pull this off? Well, it all boils down to this really smart, coordinated national game plan. Think of it as being built on 3 core pillars, all designed to create the perfect incubator for a massive AI revolution. So, let's break them down. Okay, pillar number 1. The government went all in. We're talking massive state investment through big plans like France 2030, all focused on building up their own tech power. Then, pillar 2, an insane density of talent. I mean, you've got world-class researchers pouring out of elite universities and top labs. And finally, pillar 3, the money. A really unique flow of capital, with both global VCs and local funds lining up to pour fuel on this fire.
And this is where it gets really interesting. People talk about the startup mafias of Silicon Valley, right? Well, the same thing is happening here. You have these networks of super experienced people from earlier French tech successes, think Criteo or Dataku, who are now leaving to start the next wave of great companies. And on top of that, you've got a brain gain. Top researchers are actually leaving places like Metafair and Google DeepMind in Paris to start their own thing. It's this incredible self-feeding cycle of innovation.
So all this activity has created this really unique funding scene. The best way to describe it is like a barbell. You see, on one side, if you've got these huge mega rounds, we're talking 100 million euros or more for the big foundational AI companies. Then way on the other side, you've got these super competitive, but still pretty large, seed rounds for the absolute best new teams. But the middle, that Series A space, it's really squeezed. And what that does is it forces everyone to be laser focused on getting real results fast.
And out of this whole strategy, the titans have emerged. I'm talking about the real heavyweights of the ecosystem. These are the companies building the core, foundational AI models that, honestly, are going to power everything else.
And of course, leading the charge is Mistral AI. I mean, these guys came out of nowhere. Founded by brilliant minds from Meta and Google, they have just skyrocketed to become Europe's flagship player. They're positioning themselves as the main challenger to OpenAI, and their secret weapon? Powerful, open-weight models. That basically means they're more transparent and you can customize them, which is a huge deal for big companies that are really careful about their data.
And if you want to know how much the world believes in them, just look at the money. A 1.7 billion euro funding round. That is just staggering. And look who's writing the checks. You've got NVIDIA, Andreessen Horowitz. Even the chip-making giant ASML is in on it. This isn't just a bet. This is a massive, long-term strategic play by some of the biggest names in tech.
Okay, so after Mistral, you have the next wave. And a perfect example is H Company. This is another crew of ex-DeepMind geniuses, but they're playing a different game. They're not just building chatbots to talk to you. No, they are pioneering what they call action models. This is AI that's designed to actually do things, to execute complex, multi-step tasks for you. Think of it less as a chatbot and more as a smart agent that gets stuff done. And here's how you know the market is absolutely buzzing about this. H Company just exploded onto the scene with a $220 million seed round. I have to say that again, a seed round, backed by absolute visionaries like former Google CEO Eric Schmidt and the legendary French entrepreneur Xavier Niel. That's just an insane vote of confidence right out of the gate.
Now check this out, because the story of Poolside perfectly shows you the new magnetic pool of Paris. This is a unicorn company, okay? Founded in the US, and they literally picked up and moved their headquarters to Paris. Why? Specifically to get access to France's incredible pool of engineering and math talent. We're talking about a real reverse brain drain here. It's incredible.
And did that bet pay off? Oh yeah. Poolside is building an AI that can basically act like a senior software engineer. And boom, they quickly hit a $3 billion valuation. That move completely cemented them as a major force in this booming French ecosystem.
Okay, so we've talked about the giants building the core models, but underneath them, there's this incredibly vibrant application layer. This is where the magic really happens, where AI is actually being used to solve real-world problems in pretty much every industry you can think of. Let's do a quick-fire round of some of the coolest ones.
First up, tech bio. Now, France has always been a powerhouse in medicine and math, and that has created this amazing tech bio scene. You've got Outkin, a unicorn that's using AI to discover new drugs. There is Bioptimus, which is literally building a GPT for biology. And then you have Nabla, an AI co-pilot that's already being used by over 85,000 doctors to help them with their workload and fight burnout. Just amazing stuff. And it's not just in medicine. The innovation is everywhere. You've got Dust creating these awesome custom AI assistants for other big tech companies. There's Quantev, which is tackling the huge complex insurance industry with AI. And then there's PhotoRoom, which has become a go-to tool for creative AI. I mean, their e-commerce photo app has been downloaded over 300 million times. 300 million. That's global scale.
So with all this momentum, you have to ask, where does this incredible ecosystem go from here? Well, if you look closely, there's a really clear strategic shift happening that's going to define its future.
Think about it this way. Just a little while ago, back in 2023, all the buzz was about generative AI. Creating cool images and text. It was the era of the chatbot. But now, the whole conversation is shifted. The focus is now squarely on Agentic AI. This is about building systems that can actually do things, that can automate entire workflows. It's about AI taking action, not just having a conversation.
But, okay, let's be real for a second. With all this money flying around and all this ambition, what's the real proof? What's the final sign that this ecosystem has actually matured and can truly compete on the world stage?
The answer? It's in the acquisitions. It's one thing to get investment, but it's another thing when global industrial giants start buying your companies. That's when you know your tech is truly world-class. Take Sanyo, an AI for fetal ultrasounds, boom, acquired by Samsung. Or Preligence, a defense AI company, bought by the aerospace giant Safran for 220 million euros. I mean, that is the ultimate validation.
So all of this leaves us with one big provocative question to think about. When you combine this kind of deliberate government strategy, this insane talent density, and all this smart capital, has France just created the definitive blueprint for how any nation can build its own power, its own sovereignty in the new age of AI?
And just a quick final note for you. The information we've presented here was put together using both manual and AI-powered research, so we always encourage you to go ahead and verify the accuracy for yourself. Thanks so much for tuning in.